Mr. Michalevic, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today. As a former presidential candidate and a leading opposition figure, you certainly know a thing or two about your country's history, your past, your present, your future. So maybe you could start by saying a few words about yourself.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I was born in 1975. I was born in, my parents were research associates at the Academy of Sciences. My father was a specialist in physics, mother was geneticist. So I attended relatively good means schools, and when Soviet Union started to collapse, I began, even being very young, part of pro-independence anti-communist movement. And from that time, I'm active in politics. I was educated as a political scientist and lawyer. I'm practicing as a lawyer in the European Union, and I'm very actively participating in all events within the country. At the moment, I'm deputy chairperson of the Movement for Freedom, one of the political parties, political groups, which are affiliated to European People's Party.
And could you give us a brief overview of Belarus's modern history and how your country ended up here, where we are today?
So during some more related time, like some more ancient times, we were part of Great Duchy of Lithuania, where all territory of Belarus was a biggest part, and language which is very, very similar to contemporary Belarusian language was a state language and language of majority of governmental papers and governmental legislation. So it's 20th century, it was very visible that between Poland and Russia there is an independent nation. In 1918, first independent Belarusian People's Republic was proclaimed. It became one of the main symbols for Belarusian independence. And in 1991, independent Belarus started to exist after collapse of the Soviet Union. And in 94, unfortunately, majority of people decided that they need authoritarian president, many people were still thinking about reunification into Great Soviet Union, into bigger state. By the way, Belarus was probably the most prepared for the integration into European Union in terms of economy. Belarus was always very privileged and Belarusian economy was very, I would say, scientific economy. But from other side, majority of people wanted to come back to the Soviet Union. And it was like the problem in 94, where Alexander Lukashenko was elected as a president. For the first years, he was relatively popular, and a majority of Belarusians decided to, we can explain it is as ein signed special social contract between Alexander Lukashenko and majority of social groups. So majority of social groups, teachers, workers, people from medical sphere, they gave him the whole power. They agreed that he's falsifying elections because majority of people thought anyway he's popular. He has almost 50% or 55%. So people agreed that he's falsifying elections, and now during during the last election campaign, majority of people voted they wanted to count votes, they wanted to change the power, but unfortunately it was proved that there is no way out from this system. Once you agreed on falsifying elections, when you gave the power to president to falsify everything and to govern without any control, at the same time, there is no way out from the system. The only way out is to protest and to organize people, trying to gain power to society, trying to ensure that people really can vote and real counting of votes can take place.
And would you also mind sharing a few examples of what our three Belarusian EPP observation member parties are doing to challenge the fraudulent election that we had and the outcome of it?
First of all, we were very active in election observation because we had more experience, because during last election campaign of 2012, many people, ordinary people, wanted to become observers. So we were much more experienced because we were on the front line of struggling for democracy, on struggling for free and fair elections. We were very important in terms of giving the knowledge to others how to observe on elections, how to to monitor falsifications, how to work with the public, how to organize public campaigns, and so on. And at the moment, within their coordination council, which is something like shadow government of Ms. Tikhanovskaya, who was elected as a president, who was majority of people during last elections, according to independent observations, they voted for her. So this opposition council, coordination council, has substantial number of people from center-right parties, which are members of EPP. And definitely our political experience is very, very important because many other people from different social spheres, they joined the council as a new activists. So it's very important that there is a balance between experienced people from political parties and new, very active people who simply have this negative experience, which we have as a people who were on the front line of struggling for democracy. It means that definitely we were losing many times, that we were beaten. So our experience is really very much contributing and helping the council to work properly.
And in your view, what are the major future implications of the ongoing demonstrations?
So just imagine that we have that very, very big number, very big percentage of people are coming on streets. So usually every last 4 Sundays, more than 200,000 people were coming on streets, were protesting. So it's just imagine that Minsk has 1,600,000 inhabitants, slightly less than 2 million people. And very, very substantial number. So more than 10% of people are coming to protest on streets. But from other side, definitely Lukashenko has very unified police forces, special police forces, who are guilty in torturing people, who are guilty in beating people, who knows for sure that they will be punished if situation will be changed after changing of the situation. So definitely they are also ready to struggle until the very end, because they have feelings that they are losing maybe even their private, maybe they could be imprisoned, they can be punished. And at the same time, Alexander Lukashenko, he told that he is going to rule until the end of his life. So basically, it's a very, very difficult situation when from one side, absolute majority of society is on side of protesters. Absolute majority of society. So it's absolute majority, it's more than constitutional majority. It's like probably 80% of people. From other side, Lukashenko is ready to control the power with physical force. So the most important is to divide Lukashenko's elites, people in the army, because army is not participating until now in beating people. So it means that army is coming from time to time on streets, but not participating in this conflict, like being maybe not an observer. Officially they are on side of Lukashenko, but what we need to wait until the big number of Lukashenko's elites will be ready to come on the other side. And it's really very, very difficult, because just imagine that Lukashenko was ruling the country for 26 years. So, for example, for such people like my daughter, she was born under Lukashenko time. She was graduating school, she was entering university. And so the Belarusian elites are used to be very unified, because all of those people were nominated by Lukashenko. We didn't have self-governance, so all the local managers of municipalities, local leaders of municipalities were nominated by him. all rectors and or like provosts, rectors of universities were nominated by him. All directors of schools were nominated by him. So it means that we need to protest. We need not only to wait, but to have the same level of protests for the longer period of time, trying to divide Lukashenko's elites. And another problem, which is definitely very important, is support for his side from Russian Federation, because Russian Federation is still supporting him. Putin, in spite of the fact that our revolution is democratic revolution, it's not geopolitical revolution. No one is really speaking at the moment about joining European Union or joining NATO. We are just speaking about importance of our votes, like about real counting of votes, about people who should have influence on the process, on decision making. Some basic things like for which are very, very visible for everyone in the European Union, for which in Belarus we need to struggle. So even in spite of the fact that Russian Federation could have a very high influence on new government, on nominating some figure who will be in between until the next presidential elections or until next parliamentary elections, I see that Putin is really afraid of this example, because this example of revolution, of peaceful revolution, when people are changing the political situation, they're influencing and they are dismissing the leader. So Putin is really afraid of such situation to be transferred into Russian Federation. So he decided to support Lukashenko maybe until the very end, or at least to demonstrate that Belarusians reforms are coming not from side of the streets. So this is definitely one of the very big problems of us, because Lukashenko has support from Russian Federation, and unfortunately we expect to see his people, because many Russians are working on Belarusian TV at the moment, and unfortunately we expecting that many people from Russian military troops or from Russian police troops will be beating us, will be participating in this conflict on Belarusian streets, on streets of Minsk and other cities.
Thank you so much. You and your fellow citizens' fight are truly an inspiration for all of us, and I hope that you know and feel that me, myself, and many, many, many of my colleagues within the European Parliament and the other European institutions stand behind you in this very important fight. So thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me, and never hesitate to contact me or anyone else if we can do anything more to help. Thank you.
And thank you very much for taking care about Belarus. We have a feeling that European Union is so close, not only in terms of Lithuania and Poland or Latvia, which are our neighbors, but in terms of many European capitals, the same as Stockholm, which are so close to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.